Here are 14 Brio trains, sets and accessories that we predict Brio will release in 2024. Now, as this is pure speculation, we're going to split these into three camps: what we expect to see, what we think is likely, and what we'd want to see. Oh, and then one crazy prediction at the end for a whole new railway system. Okay, so let's get the easy what we expect to see out of the way first. It's a safe bet that we'll see a new special edition 24 train in spring. This follows the trends of the past few years, and we don't anticipate 2024 being any different. When it comes to what sort of SE24 train Brio might release next year, that's a little more difficult to predict. Looking back on the past 11 iterations, it tends to be a train with a tender or a train and cargo wagon, with the 2014 and 2020 Metro train being the only exceptions. Looking at these trains and looking at their current selections of trains, I think there are a couple of options. First, something based around the Safari train. We haven't had an SE version of this engine yet, which I think puts it in good contention for a new colourway. Could it include an animal in a new SE colour as well? Possibly, as the 23 SE trains saw the start of a new decade of trains. There could be an overarching theme here of limited edition animals included with each of these trains. Alternatively, we might see the use of the all-wood train from the classic railway set with a new colourway. In 2022, Brio released the sticker train, which was based on this engine, released in white, so this is another contender we think. Brio recently retired the 33894 cargo train and driver, along with the 33981 cargo train and tunnel sets. While this engine is still available in both the Cargo Mountain Deluxe set and Lift and Load Warehouse sets, we've only ever seen it in green and orange, so a new SE24 colour is a distinct possibility we think, complete with wagon and a new piece of cargo. Next, I think at this point it's a given there'll be a new advent calendar for autumn 2024. Looking at previous years, we would expect it to contain similar items to before, though it might be nice to mix it up, especially for those of us who buy them every year so we don't get the same pieces every time. We certainly don't need any more fence items or presents. As for theme, you can't go wrong with a classic winter wonderland, right? We also think it's a safe bet to expect some new smart tech accessory added to the range, as this also follows suit with previous years. With the release of the 36004 Fire and Rescue set, I can imagine that Brio will look to replace the standalone action tunnel sets with updated versions that include the new style interchangeable chips. Beyond that, I think a Smart Tech Sound police station could be on the horizon now we have this Fire and Rescue set. I can see this being a really playable accessory added to the range and come with either a police themed train as well as new Smart Tech action chips for the tunnels. Again, looking at previous years, there's a strong chance we'll see a new accessory added to either the Disney or Disney Princess lineup. An Under the Sea themed princess set might be an option, coinciding with the Little Mermaid film that was recently released. It's an opportunity to bring Ariel to the princess lineup also. Lastly then, we can see Brio adding at least one more train to their recently rebooted Trains of the World series. We've already seen 3 trains using their tried and tested travel train design in the TGV, ICE and SBB released in autumn 23, so it's a strong possibility that we would see some more added in 2024. Some American freight trains would make for some nice additions, we think. Okay, so then, things we think Brio might introduce next year. These are more educated guesses based on trends we have seen and things that are now seemingly missing from the range. Firstly then, there's a strong likelihood that we will get a new train set. However, figuring out what that set might be is a little more tricky, which is why we've added it to this section of our list. If we look at previous trends, then a new track layout that incorporates an accessory that was launched last year is a strong possibility. The Brio 36012 Animal Barn perhaps? However, there are already 2 other countryside themed sets available to buy right now, so I'm not sure a third would really make sense. I do think that a figure 8 layout using a viaduct bridge, similar to the Flying Scotsman set that we reviewed recently on the channel, would add something missing from the current selection of sets. Either that, or a larger figure 8 track using the orange bridge that was first introduced in the 33789 lumber loading set with some matching orange battery train and accessories will be a good addition also. Next up is something that we think has been in the works for a few years now, that is a Brio hospital accessory. Now, Brio have made hospitals previously throughout the years, and with the introduction of the ambulance station in the 36025 rescue set in 2022 and the 36022 rescue helicopter in 2023, a new hospital destination in 2024 would make sense to us. There is even an emergency services trend that we have seen previously. The current ambulance building has previously been used as both a police and fire station with different colours and logos, both of which now have their own larger dedicated building that connects with both road and rail. So I think a hospital building would make sense and follow suit. How big would the building be? Well, with the introduction of the rescue helicopter, you would expect there to be a helipad on the top of the building, so it would need to be quite large to accommodate this. Most likely it will be tall like the central fire station is and accommodate some hospital rooms inside, where we could bring back some of the village furniture accessories like the bed and chairs. Plus we would expect them to add a passenger car to the new ambulance vehicle like they had previously with the 33575 set. Looking at the trains we have received lately from Brio, I think we're overdue a new non-battery powered train design. If we look at all of the non-battery trains we have seen in recent years, we have to go back to 2020 when Brio introduced the streamlined train design and then updated the delivery in 2021 with the SE version of it. We would love to see Brio either redesign one of these classic trains and relaunch it in a new colourway, or come up with something completely new. Something else that we think is likely to arrive is the standalone elevated station set. This station is currently available in two sets, the 33052 Deluxe set and the 33512 Travel Switching set. There's also an alternate version of this station in the Central Station set, and a previous version was included in the Brio Metro set that has white tiles. Brio have historically included stations in sets and then released them as standalone play accessories as well, such as the Record and Play station and the Speaking station. So we'd love to see a version of this station sold separately with two ascending straights to connect to it, maybe a couple of passengers and some luggage to complete it. Right, let's look at some of the things we would love to see Brio introduce, but realistically they probably won't. First on our list is the Ultimate Support Pack. Now, regular viewers of the channel will know that we love to build tool tracks. However, it's really difficult to buy supports today to achieve this. Currently, you can only buy the green stacking supports that come in a set of two. Now, previously Brio used to offer the 33981 track supports on a height set, which contained 4 of those stacking supports along with 4 grey supports and some track. Not helping things, Brio also recently discontinued the 33254 Super Supports Pack, and historically they used to sell a pack of 6 wooden stacking supports in the 33355, but as of today you can only buy the 33995 Ascending Curves pack, which includes 6 of the plastic girder style supports along with those ascending curves. So the first thing we would like to see introduced in the future would be an ultimate support pack that could include 2 super supports, 4 plain wooden supports, 2 single girder supports, 2 double girder supports, and 2 stacking supports. I think this would be a great accessory expansion pack to introduce, and it's all pre-existing pieces. It's just a matter of combining those items into a new set. Next up, a Classic Junctions pack. We know that Brio already have 6 expansion packs available to buy right now, but we think there's space for one more pack, a Classic Junctions track pack. The timing is perfect. What with Brio celebrating 65 years in 2023, a nostalgia-fueled track pack would be great to see, and if we were picking the junctions to include, we would go for 1 F2 and 1 G2 parallel switch, 1 I and 1 J 3-way junction, 1 H2 crossroad, and 1 O and 1 P small junction. We have seen Brio bring back classic junctions before with the F2 parallel switch in the recent but now discontinued Travel Station set, so we don't think it is out of the question they could bring all of these elements back. Let us know which classic track items you would like to see Brio reintroduce into the range. Third then, limited edition track packs. Now, staying with the classic track for a minute, Brio have enough items in their back catalogue that they could release a pair of junctions, or no longer available tracks, on a yearly limited edition run, much like they do with the current SE trains. Now, we quite like the idea of each year being able to purchase some of the new classic elements, especially if they brought back double track sets, or even the A3 lengths. Let us know in the comments which classic track piece you would most like to see Brio reintroduce into the range. So for our last pick in this section, we think a new large railway set is possible in 2024, and having gone back through some classic catalogues, we like the look of the 33133 transportation set and think it's perfect to be reimagined into a new set. I just think with all the elevation and junctions, it adds something missing from the current series of deluxe sets that we have. Yes, some of the elements that are included would need to be updated, but that's easy enough to swap a few of the older pieces out for some of the new current pieces. It's so easy, in fact, that we've already made our own version of this set, and we're going to be bringing that layout to you in a future video, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss. Okay, maglev trains. Hear me out. We know Brio have previously made special versions of their wooden train track. Network series with the white paint details, Bob the Builder with the pink painted details. We then have special edition tracks such as the Monorail series, and going back a little further with the Skytrain series. So, is a maglev train really out of the question? Yes, the track would need some kind of magnet embedded in it, and the trains, perhaps a reworking of the previous monorail trains, would need opposite magnets in the bottom of them so they could levitate off the track. Plausible, however unlikely. You can be sure we will cover all the new products when they are announced on the channel, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss seeing all of our 14 predictions come true. Maybe 13. I think maglev is a little too bold even for 2025, to be honest. But let us know in the comments which were your favourites, and tell us what sets you would most likely to see Brio release in 2024. And while we wait for that, why not take a look at these 15 sets that were recently retired, or watch us recreate the classic Brio 33147 Engineers set layout. Man, that sky bridge is such a great accessory. Is it too late to add another item to this list?